So here we are, edging ever closer to the end of this Adventure Series run, and you can kind of feel it as these figures are winding down. We're here with the last Dial of Destiny figure today, Dr. Jürgen Voller, and probably, for me, the highlight of the movie, or one of the highlights of the movie. I thought his character was awesome, and his figure has some huge highs and some huge lows. Let's get into them now. Hi there, Chris here, the Geek figure fan, and yes, today we're taking a look at Dr. Jürgen Voller, another of Wave 3's Adventure Series figures. So this is the fourth Dial of Destiny figure that's come out from this range after Indy and Helena in Wave 2, and we've previously seen Ronaldo in Wave 3. So what we're going to do today is take a look at the final figure and the main bad guy from the movie as well. In my opinion, the best part of the movie. I thought that Mads Mikkelsen owned this role, and he's one of those people now, a bit like Giancarlo Esposito. If you need a calm, menacing bad guy in a movie, these are the guys you call, you know? He's done it in Bond, Indy, Marvel, the useless Harry Potter thing, Star Wars, although he's not really a villain in Star Wars, but you know what I mean. This guy gets around the major franchises. But I'm going to make a prediction that I think this review is going to be one of the shorter Adventure Series reviews that we've done. So, without further ado, let's first take a look at the box. And I think this box gives you an indication of both the highs and lows, that being the immaculate head sculpt and the pathetic accessories and pretty boring attire. And that can be seen in the photorealistic renderings on the front and back of this box. My favourite part, the poster art, probably one of the most boring of the spine designs. It's just him looking in two different directions, wearing exactly the same suit, doing nothing in particular. So yeah, you know, a bit meh, bit boring, bit bland. I mean, on the other side, we've clearly still got the 6 images of each figure within this wave, and on the back we've also got a picture of what little accessories Hasbro deemed it appropriate to sell with this figure. So first, let's get him out of the box and let's take a quick look at his figure. So I mean, I've said it before and we'll look at it in greater detail, but the face sculpt's amazing, but this suit, it's just another suit. I like the brown shoes, I think they go well. But this black, almost aubergine kind of colour, it's just, there's nothing to it. Decent head movement, standard Exorcist head movement on here, but you will notice that it does move that tie because that collar piece moves with the neck. Not a bad wing movement on this figure. We've seen it be a lot stiffer on Wave 3, but this one's been pretty good. And we've got a single joint in the elbow. Decent movement in the wrist. For some reason you've got a trigger finger and no gun. That's typical of this range. Standard torso movement as well on here. No ab crunch. Decent single joint on the knee. And excellent movement in the ankles, as we've seen on most of these suited figures. So let's pop him aside and we'll spend about 12 seconds going over the accessories. So he has a pair of glasses that will fit over his head, and they do look good when they're on, so we'll have a look at that later. And we also have his satchel bag, a satchel bag that doesn't open, that doesn't do anything. And then we have a single piece of the Grail table here as well, and it does look amazing. Can't wait to see that on the Grail table in a future episode. But even then, it's just a single plate that I'm assuming will fit onto the top of the table itself. And that's it. So let's take a look at the figure out on display. Let's get him into some poses and we'll discuss what I think. And as you can see him turning around here, I think I'm going to spend very little time on the clothing, except to say it's someone else in a really muted, boring suit. There's no pattern, there's no design, there's no attempt to give it a fabric look, let alone a feel. Very similar actually to Henry Jones's suit, where it felt dull and it felt hollow. You know, there was just nothing to it. It's that single boring colour, like you know, with Henry Jones's, it's like the colour of a World War II tank, and this is just like an off black that I don't think is exciting at all. I mean, the shirt and the tie look good, and I'm really impressed with the shoes. I think that brown looks excellent on those shoes. But for me, the only thing I can really talk about is the head sculpt on this figure, and I will say that this might be peak Adventure Series head sculpt. Mads Mikkelsen has definitely got this very, very specific look. I always think of it, it looks like he's perpetually siphoning the air while he's breathing. You know, he is he is constantly pouting for the cameras, and it's just a very definitive look that is unique to Mads Mikkelsen. And I wouldn't say he's gaunt, but he's very angular, and every single sort of defining feature that I relate to Mads Mikkelsen's appearance is captured in this face sculpt in an excellent manner. I even feel like the figure thinks it's better than me. So yeah, I can't say enough good things about this head sculpt. This is, for me anyway, the best head sculpt that we've seen outside of an indie figure, which they've constantly been improving upon in later and later iterations. You know, Hasbro have had a lot of opportunities to better that indie face. But for me, for a secondary character, or a character secondary to indie, this is the best head sculpt that we've seen, I think. And the glasses that we put on it, that we'll show now, serve only to improve that as well. Those horn rim style glasses are for me, are quite synonymous with the character, and I think it's difficult when it's a character that's so recent to have things that really remind you of them. But those horn rim glasses very much do that. The hat as well, I like that the hat is at a slight angle. I think that hat looks really impressive at that angle. It's yet again something, it doesn't match the hat, it doesn't match the suit. You know, it's a completely different colour, and I guess that's what they're going for, but it just looks weird. I think the suit would look better in that grey colour instead of that black that just loses the detail. It sucks in the detail, the creasing that they've put on it. You lose it on that black, whereas the grey of the hat would have probably been better suited for the suit in the first place. And from memory, I do remember him wearing grey quite a lot in the movie, but I mean, what do I know? So yeah, I'm really impressed with the head sculpt, but we'll move on from that because we clearly need hours to talk about these accessories. And I've already done such a fantastic job of talking about the glasses that we're going to move straight onto this satchel bag. Here we go. It's a satchel bag. It's black. It looks fine. How they consider this to be suitable for accessories, it's the same as Ronaldo. That, you know, of accessories, you know, one of them is a piece of clothing. For Ronaldo, that's a hat, and for Voller, it's glasses. And then they've just got one thing. In Ronaldo's case, it was a cane, and in Voller's case, it was a satchel. So I tell you what, if anyone has seen my previous review talking about why it is that they didn't have a Dial of Destiny as an accessory, especially just a smaller two-piece accessory, perhaps one that could have gone with Ronaldo, one that could have gone with Voller, that just clicked together. It's one extra accessory each, and it becomes like a cheat build an artifact because it's two pieces that get put together. Even though it's tiny, I just don't understand how we've got 4 figures from a movie and we don't have an incredibly simple accessory in the Dial of Destiny included. I just don't understand that. So yeah, with Voller, considering his entire purpose of the movie was it to introduce that MacGuffin on the train in the 40s inside the very satchel that they've given us as an accessory. Anyway, it's a figure with such great individual features such as the head sculpt, and yet it's a figure that makes me so frustrated and angry at the poor choices that Hasbro have made. And yeah, I'm coming for Hasbro on this because it's their choice, it's their decision to make, and it's just such a going out with such a whimper at the end of this adventure series. The 4 Last Crusade figures, arguably 4 of the best figures. Like, all of them are good. Now, varying degrees of good, you know, but if somebody said to you, Elsa's my favourite figure, I wouldn't think they were a fool for saying it. I could completely understand their reasoning. But if someone said to me, Voller's my favourite figure, I'd be like, what? So yeah, just a lack of effort with the 2 Dial of Destiny figures. They feel like afterthoughts. They knew which 4 figures they needed in the Last Crusade, and I just personally wonder whether there were other figures that they were thinking of doing and they changed their minds at the last minute. I don't know, but they're just so underwhelming. Anyway, that's Voller for you. If you're desperate for creating the Grail table, obviously get him. Like I say, I think his face sculpt is fantastic and is definitely the redeeming quality of this figure. But I think if I was going to get him and I wasn't fussed about the table, I'd be waiting until he's in a bargain bin, until he's £5, £10, $10, and I'd be using him to kit bash. He is just body in suit for me. But there you go. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, if you found it useful, please hit the like button, and also please consider subscribing to the channel. is helping hugely. Thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed so far. Hello to my subscribers, especially my new subscribers. It's fantastic to have you here. We're over 500 now. I'm pushing for my first 1,000. So please hit that subscribe button if these figures and more news and reviews will interest you. Also, please drop a comment on the video as well. I'd love to know what you think of this figure. If this is your favourite figure, fantastic. Please tell me. I'd love to hear that, because perhaps I'm being too harsh on this one. But either way, if you're interested in more of this Indiana Jones Adventure Series range and you want to watch another video now, why don't check out this video next. Thanks ever so much. Speak to you all soon. Bye bye.